What up? What up? What's up? Who knows? Maybe I will be the Art Bell of the Earlverse. I certainly have the sleep schedule to um, commit to that. Unfortunately for me, the late night streams don't do very well numbers wise. But this week I've had some stuff to do between the 4 and say 8 p.m. Time frames. So it's either do it at this hour or don't do it. And I'm just trying to stay consistent. My goal is to do 31 days of straight streams to crack the algorithm. I love Art Bell. I mean, I so miss my Sunday night schedule of the Matt Drudge radio show, Art Bell, and then Bill Bennett. He was probably the least interesting of the three, but you know, well, I think I mean, it's just cracking the algorithm, and then it just goes. And I don't even mean the financial aspects. I mean, just I have seen the more I do it, the more I get into the recommended video section, which is really where you pick up a lot of subscribers. Um, oh, I loved Doug McIntyre. And then there was a gay dude, Al Rantel. He was really funny. What a zoomy. Um, who else? Doug Krikorian. He was sports guy though. Joe McDonnell and Doug Krikorian. Of course, one of my favorite radio shows of all time, and I don't think it was national, was the Jim Healy radio show. And what he was, it's kind of hard to explain what he did. He was a local sports reporter, and he had spies everywhere. So he had bartenders at the Bel Air Hotel, and he had valets at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and a bartender at Jones. So Steve Garvey walked in with someone not named Cindy Garvey. He'd do a sports. He's like a combo sports gossip reporter. So he'd be like, Dateline, Bel Air Hotel last night. Steve Garvey was there with someone not named Cindy Garvey. And he would play like sound effects. And he was really the first guy to break Lasorda cussing when the sports reporter asked him about Dave Kingman's performance. Now, Dave Kingman, the Dodgers, I think, had just lost to the Mets 9-7. Kingman had 3 home runs and like all 9 RBIs or something crazy about that, like that. And the sports reporter, Paul Holden, who I think later became the Yankees PA announcer, is like, what's your opinion of Kingman's performance? And for the next 5 minutes, Lasorda's just berating this guy. You want my fucking opinion of Kingman's performance? Or what do you think my opinion was of Kingman's performance? You want my opinion? And the funny thing is, the sports reporter was almost antagonizing him. What Lasorda goes, I mean, shit, he had 4 hits. And the sports reporter's like, it's actually 5. So it was like a sound effects gossip. And it was very funny, very tongue in cheek. It was probably one of my first comedy influences. That's the Jim Healy show. There's some chunks of it on YouTube if you just put in Jim Healy show. Who are your favorite play-by-play announcers? In hockey, he just passed away, Bob Cole. Also, the Kings' longtime announcer, Bob Miller. I liked it when the Rangers, Bill Chadwick, and then I liked the team of Sam Rosen and Phil Esposito, and then later Sam Rosen and John Davidson. Love Rick Jeanneret. He just passed away from Buffalo. Football. I don't really necessarily have a favorite. Let me see. I mean, I like John Madden. Him and Summerall were good. I do like Tony Romo. There is an era of authenticity when Tony Romo was breaking down a play. I like Phil Simms. Pre-workout supplement, creatine. I mean, caffeine. Shit, just a straight caffeine pill or a caffeine drink will get you going. Let me see. How about Phil Henry? Yeah, I mean, Jim Healy was very much like Phil Henry with sports. You saw your first hockey game today. They didn't play today. What are you on, baby doll? I didn't really like Howard Cosell. He made it too much about him. I mean, boxing. I mean, I did like Jim Lampley. What up? What up? Earl, thoughts on Sexy Red on AEW? I don't know who Sexy Red is. I more meant a suggestion of a specific brand. Oh, I mean, well, Kenny Omega, he supports Redcon. I don't know the black chick. I mean, other good. I'm trying to think. I mean, a particular brand. I always did like Rich Gaspari's. Yeah, I mean, they played yesterday, John Doe. They played yesterday. I'm trying to think of a specific brand. I mean, right now I use Redcon for pre-workout. They have stuff called Pump that's good. I mean, creatine's creatine. It's all the same in that regard. What else? I mean, you really want to take a stimulant to get you going, and then something to open up the blood vessels, because whatever you're working out, whether it be your legs, your biceps, your chest, your shoulders, forearms, whatever, all those body parts are made of blood vessels. So if you make something, if you take something that opens up your capillaries, the more blood you get in the muscle, the bigger it gets. Now, of course, well, boner pills, it's funny. It's not like they just work on the dick. Earl, can you suggest a stimulant that doesn't make you crash and won't hurt your heart? Well, I mean, they probably all hurt your heart to a degree. I always liked Gaspari supplements. I mean, right now, I would say I use Redcon. I mean, I did start because Omega endorses them, but I actually like the products. And then I, like Monster Milk protein shakes after. Mimi, hi. SW, Sarah, Tiana, and Ziggler Rose. Who would have you voted for? I mean, Tiana won, but I think Ziggler did better than people thought, And see, that's the problem, like, with that particular battle, Mimi, and like Jeff and Blake Griffin, is Sarah and Jeff are put in almost no-win situations. Because if Sarah kills Dolph Ziggler or Jeff and Blake Griffin, you're really not impressed, because you're like, well, they should. Dolph and Blake don't do roast battle. And then if they kind of beat them, but Blake and Dolph get in some good ones, you're like, oh, maybe Sarah and Jeff aren't so good anymore. And then if it's a tie, Or, most people, if they're being honest with you would tell you off the record Blake beat Jeff, but they gave it some phony tie. Um, so, um, and then, how can Jeff call himself the roast master when he lost to Blake Griffin? Someone who'd literally never done a roast battle before. We'll make it a tie. So it's like when I beat the wrestler John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, John Hennigan, Johnny TV, and I killed him. And he's a great guy, but like it's just it'd be like if I tried to wrestle him. But people are like, well, Earl, you should have killed him. He's never done it before, and he had Jen Sturger writing for him, and she's really funny. So it did nothing for me. So that's why I think someone asked me the other night what started the downfall of roast battle, and I don't know if I'd say it started it, but I think it finished it when you had celebrities who'd never done roast battle getting on the TV show. So I hope that answers that. Yeah, I just said fuck it, Kip Smith. I'm reading this book called Fuck It. And it's basically the premise of the book is sometimes when you don't feel like doing something, just say fuck it and do it. And I realize it's a big day in the Dabbleverse with all the controversy and Animal Mother. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what's going on. And I don't care to know what's going on. But, hopefully this is just an hour stream where you guys can take a break. Oh, I didn't even know he did a second show. I mean, it was pretty funny today. I'm watching at one point Melton sniping Kevin, who's sniping Stuttering John. It was just so ridiculous. It was funny. And I couldn't really follow. They were talking about the Quad Father bombing John's channel with porn or something. I don't know. And then Brennan calling Melton a pedophile. I mean, you got to be careful when you say stuff like that. Like, I would think that, that would, and the way Melton was reacting, I would guess that he's probably going to strike Kevin's channel for defamatory statements. Yeah, Jerry Roach is looking better. Jerry's a good, he's a good man, one of my longtime friends. Well, I mean, a lot of people think this stream is boring because I just hit record and I talk. But one, I don't know how to snipe. And even if I did, I wouldn't do it. I think sniping is just laziness. But I get it. I get why it's popular in the Dabbleverse. I mean, it's like Mystery Science Theater, Stadler and Waldorf, but it's just not for me. I mean, and I have zero interest in the Stuttering John shit, and God bless Shuley and, Carl, like they make a lot of money the last 3 years, made and are making a lot of money. And I just I don't know. It's just so uninteresting to me. I mean, I don't think it's so yesterday yet. I mean, I do think Kevin is the funniest person out of all of us. I just wish he would, not snipe and shit as much as he does. But it is funny. Like, I got to be honest with you. It's really funny to me to hear his commentary on whoever he's talking about. I mean, I like where the stream is going, AC/DC. So, I mean, obviously, I wish there was a 0 at the end of that 16. But, I like my channel is growing. Not quite as fast as I'd like, obviously, but, it's an open stream. I mean, we can talk about that stuff. I don't think I have a lot to add to it. Um, and obviously I know hockey and AEW wrestling isn't going to get like thousands of people in here, but I'm fine with that. I don't mind Gloria Hole. What up, Ben Bones Jones? I don't mind the trolls. I really don't. Like, um, trolls mean nothing to me. The people who say I suck. Then what are you watching my stream for? Like, they're just jealous that I'm doing something I like doing and I have fun. I got a gig this Sunday night at the Comedy Store. Got actually a rare improv spot Thursday night. So I'm excited. Well, I mean, I think you have to, there's only probably, I would guess, I don't know, 50 to 100 regular super chatters. And at some point, the money's going to dry up. You have to get new people in. And, I just think the Dabbleverse is so uninteresting to most people. It's like when I took Ray to the Dirty at 12:30 at the South Point Casino after Hackamania. It's me, Ray, and the 7 Vegas comics, and they had no fucking idea what Ray was talking about in terms of the Dabbleverse. So, although it seems like quite a big world, it's actually really small, and a lot of people just aren't into it. They don't care. So, well, I don't like when they bring up the kids, man. Kids are off limits to me. Unless they're on the show, like unless the kid is the co-host or something. I think wives are off limits unless they're on the show. So any Bush discussion? You mean George or women? So and I mean, I don't really know Stuttering John. Did Ray do his Dabbleverse act at the club you went to? No, we didn't get to go up. I think we had gotten there too late because the Dabbleverse or the Dirty at 12:30 is about 15 minutes, where we were, and there was traffic. So we got there right as Rocky Dale Davis was about ready to go on. So then they're not going to put comics on after the headliner. I mean, I probably could have gotten on just because I know the guy who runs the Dirty at 12:30, and he would have put me on. But I mean, I like women. You guys know that. I mean, I'm asexual at the moment, but that's fine. I need a break every now and then, and I don't mind. I do like doing this in the dark. It really makes the red sign pop. So, ladies, Boulder Johnny, you need some pussy. I probably do, but it'll come. I don't chase at my age. What's up, big Earl? I see we talking about girls. We can talk about anything, sour milk. Well, I think I get along with Melton. That was at Hackamania. That was the first time we ever talked to each other. We did do a Red Band Secret Death Squad show. I think in like 2013, but I don't recall talking to him, and he doesn't recall talking to me. And that was my first time meeting Pat Dixon, first time meeting Ray, first time meeting Carl. And I stand by my grade of A- for Hackamania. Now, it was an A- for the one night I was there and how I was treated. Now, to the Saturday night and Saturday day podcast where I know they had some sound issues, to the people who bought the stream or the people who were in the room, you probably wouldn't rate it an A-, but Uh, and I know, listen, I don't like some things Melton talks about, but in terms of how I was treated for Hackamania, it's an A minus, man. Uh, well, that 110 pounds 3 times, and I did 5 sets of three. I was looking good. Well, I'm just nice to him. I'm nice to everyone, really. Shit, I was nice to Jeff Ross for a long time. But call it a character flaw. When you burn me, then I lock in. So that's, how I operate. Sarah judged a roast battle. Sarah judged the roast battle against Tiana on television. Yeah, I mean, Sarah's always nice to me. We're not like best friends or anything, but um, you know, got no problem with her. Now, her manager is also Jeff and Sarah's manager, so I might have a problem with her, but who cares? Dude? Nobody really cares. Um, it was the real Big Black. That's crazy. I always thought he was funny, man. Um, you know, no, I mean Junior. He was accused of something, but it was basically he said, she said. But it was also like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So it was the allegations were brought up again, in the height of the Chris D'Elia stuff. So, you know, with D'Elia, there was like screenshots and shit. But I mean, I met Michaela. I didn't know she performed, to be honest with you. It was nice meeting her. Nice meeting Tio Hank, Bentley, all those guys. um, KB. I had a good time. I mean, I'll definitely do it again. I mean, I probably won't drive up there on a Friday afternoon. I mean, really, my only negative experience I won't say all weekend, but that Friday was um, that toward the end of the open mic, this one guy had bombed the older guy, and some guy in the crowd. This guy's still better than Earl, and it was like said in kind of like an angry way, and like, okay, So when listen, if the guy didn't think I'm funny, that's fine, but when it's said like in an angry way, I have nothing really to play off of that. So that was really the only like. Well, I wish that didn't happen. No, I did not bang anyone in Las Vegas. I don't know. I don't really. Man, it's been a long time since I've looked at a Playboy Bush. My favorite playmate of all time. I'll spell her name if you want to. I don't necessarily have a type, but and it's a playmate that most people haven't really heard of. Is Petra Verkijk. Check her out. Kevin Brennan talking about Whitney Cummings is pure comedy. Hates that broad. Well, I mean, you got to give Kevin this. He's authentic. I don't think that Kevin is saying stuff just to say it, which I appreciate. What happens in Vegas? Now, I mean, I did nothing in Vegas, to be honest with you. I took Ray to the Dirty at 12:30, and then KB and I think one other girl, might have been Tookie's girl. I don't really remember. They came, and I took Ray and KB back to the Grand Hotel. They went to Fremont Street. I was like, boys and girl, I'm too tired. I'm going to sleep. Coke, guns, whores, karaoke, and child neglect. What a day. Yeah, I don't want to talk about people's kids, man. I just um, I wouldn't say that. ACDC. Sarah Tiana's very funny. Um, so I'm trying to think. Steph Tolov I find very funny. Um, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a lot of Liz Traeger. I think is very funny. Jeff Stryker, Stryker's Island. No, she isn't. I don't know who isn't. I don't know which one of those you're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of unfunny male comics. Believe me on that one. Uh, yeah, I mean, Steph, I've had to go on after her at the Comedy Store. She's hard to follow, but I manage. Hey, follow the 11 people, by the way, and hit the like button. So, um, Earl, I mean, there's been quite a few. Quite a few, Dr. Nova. I don't like to kiss and tell on here. John Leslie, damn, you guys are really old school. Earl, would you bang Lizzo if it was the apocalypse? Probably not. She's a little too big for me. Like, I've had some big women in my life, but uh, John Leslie, how about a Harry Reams or Alex Sanders reference? Come on, hello. Yeah, but right now I'm making love to Rosie Palms. Yeah, I don't want to really imagine that, Kongzilla. I mean, giant jugs, but unfortunately, the rest of her is also giant. But listen, someone's hitting that hard too, I'm sure. Yeah, Kiss and Tell. That was a good. I like the book Kiss and Sell. I mean, I don't know if Schaub was ever really welcome at the Comedy Store. I mean, he's allowed to go up there and get on like Sam Tripoli shows or Eddie Ift and Friends shows. Um, I mean, I don't think he'll ever be a paid regular, but once again, this probably isn't. I know I could probably get 100 more people in here right now if I started talking shit about Schaub. But you know what? Every time I've talked to him, he's been cool to me, and that's what I go on. So I guess he's welcome. I don't know if he's welcome to perform there, but he could hang out, I guess. Question, Daddy Man. You have to do one. Do you put it in Lizzo's rear tunnel or Blue Iris's mouth? Blue Iris's mouth, no doubt about it. Good morning, Mr. Skakel. Enjoyed your hiking video. I chuckled a couple times. Lois is doing very well. I was very worried about her last night. She wasn't eating, and she was very lethargic. And they say when dogs go, it's the first thing they don't do anymore is eat. So I treated her to a spa day today, and she's 100% better. I mean, she's got a heart murmur and fluid in the lungs that is not leaving. So I don't know if she'll ever be better, but she could certainly be worse. But thank you, what the fuck, for answering or asking that. Yes, Ace Frehley is on tour. I like that song, Cherry Medicine. I love you, cherry medicine. You make me feel better when you're in your black leather. Cherry medicine, you're the only one. And then 10,000 Volts, that's another good song. I mean, I wish Ace wasn't such a fuck up. Because his albums aren't bad. I mean, there's a lot of filler in those albums. Yeah, no more inside baseball. It's like everyone is at the table. Oh, there's plenty of stuff that's not talked about on podcasts. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that the comedy fans and general public, will never, ever find out unless you're there and you see it happen. So Mike Horner, jeez, you guys. I mean, what about Mr. Marcus? I mean, that would be a great stream. I mean, believe me, I know with all my insiders information, like it's probably too late to do this, but I probably should do an anonymous stream where I'm wearing a mask. Kind of like the Potato or Tukey. I mean, now I've met Tukey, so I know who he is, but um, and just had a gossip stream. You know how many people I would get in here super chatting me. But my voice is too hard to describe or cover up. I mean, as soon as I talk, everyone knows. Oh, that's Earl. So, I mean, if I put the Sting mask on, but then everyone would be like, "Isn't that Earl?" Um, I want to see the Stones because, it's funny to me. There's two black guys in the Rolling Stones now. I think the drummer from Tom Petty's band. Of course, he's not the original drummer from Tom Petty's band. That would be the great Stan Lynch. Thank you very much. I think his name is Steve Hunter, if I'm not mistaken. And then Daryl, the bass player, who's been in the band for like 30 years. So it's just mind blowing to me that there's two black dudes in the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I mean, and the rat sign behind me. Isn't this Earl? I mean, there is a website. I'm not in charge of it. It's called crazydaysandnights.net. It's what they call a blind item site. Is the sax player black? I didn't know they had one. I mean, listen, I saw I like the drummer in the Traveling Wilburys. I saw a video last night of them doing "Start Me Up," and for 80 fucking years old, man, he's amazing. The Stones are at Brown Stadium on Saturday. I mean, it's amazing to me that the Stones can still sell out football stadiums. I mean, their staying power is impressive to say the least. I'll have to give the new record a spin. I don't, or a stream. Me and Tony Mazer might go. Mondays with Mazer. Boing. I'll give Chad a plug. Um, yeah, I mean, I would like to see them. I don't think they've hit LA yet. I would assume they'll play SoFi, which the last show I saw there was Metallica, Pantera, and Mammoth. Big Black. I did get confirmation that you are the real Big Black from Howard Stern. I always thought you were very funny. Uh, how are they doing that, Earl? The Rolling Stones, I mean. It's unbelievable to be 80 years old and like to look like Mick Jagger does. I mean, yeah, he's got some wrinkles in the face, but he's got the body of a 30-year-old. I mean, Keith Richards, I can't say he looks good, but he looks healthy for him. Um, so, kind of, the drummer is not a young guy by any stretch, but let me see how old the drummer is. I mean, I know Daryl, the bass player who took over for Bill Wyatt, or Bill Wyman. Let's see, drummer, Rolling Stones. Let's see here. Steve Jordan. I think I said Steve Hunter. Charlie Watts died. He was 80 years old. I'm not sure how old. He is. Meet the drum. I'm trying to get an age here on Steve Jordan, who has a very good musical history. Jordan is 64, so it's not like he's a spring chicken either. But Keith is a medical miracle. It's like the doctors used to tell Lemmy, "Don't stop taking speed," because it's at this point it's regulating your body, and if you stopped, you'd have a heart attack. It's been rumored that like Keith years ago would go to like Sweden for full-on blood transfusions. I mean, that's it's a possibility. Doom. Can we talk about the turn now? I don't know what you're talking about, Doom. My first concert was Springsteen at the Coliseum. Unfucking believable. I'm going to tell you that right now. 3.5 hour show, no opening act, and you couldn't have put another fucking person into the stadium. Now, I didn't get a t-shirt at the Coliseum. I got one outside the Coliseum. And that was my first foray into, oh, this is a scam, because I washed it the next day and literally 70% of the picture and the lettering disappeared. Well, I mean, who knows? You can do dialysis, you can do blood transfusions, you can do plasma cells. Like, with the money the Stones have made the last 50 years, I'm sure any medical option is on the table. Now, my first metal concert was 1991 Long Beach Arena, Winger, Slaughter, Kiss on the Hot in the Shade tour. So that was a fun night. Very good. Kiss coming out of the mouth of the Sphinx with the lasers behind them was probably the best concert opening I've ever seen. Did you ever see the Beastie Boys? I did not. I mean, outside of You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party, it's not that I'm not fans of theirs. I just, they didn't really do it for me. I liked Winger. I mean, it was, they had Slaughter on the bill because Slaughter was pretty hot at the time. Winger, they were, they had some hits, 17 and Miles Away and Mandolin. They were pretty, Winger's a great band. I mean, Red Beach, one of the best guitar players of that era. Kip Winger's a very accomplished bass player. And then Rod Morgenstein, the drummer's like a jazz fusion guy. So like they got a lot of shit because they were all good looking guys, but Winger is much more, I mean, Beavis and Butthead kind of clowned on them, but they were a very good band musically. Because Kip Winger had come from Alice Cooper's band, and Alice Cooper doesn't have shit players. Air Supply, I mean, they had there's a video, if you look for it, me and Chandler did a video where she kills me to the Air Supply song Making Love Out of Nothing at All. I think it's called Modern Romance. It's on one of her channels. So if you can find it, and don't troll Chandler or whatever, but it is a funny video because she's lip syncing to that song while she's stabbing me to death. Chris, your best comedy show? Like my best comedy show performing or the best comedy show I saw? I mean, Kip Winger is very accomplished as a bass player. I mean, he got a lot of shit because he was good looking. Excuse me. But I don't hate on the guy for being good looking. By the way, I'm going to watch as soon as this is done. Let me get my energy drink to carry me through. By the way, another good exercise supplement company is Force Factor. they have a lot of good stuff. Who's Keith? I don't like Wanda Sykes. She was mean, really mean to Jack Knight, who killed himself last year. But the first year we did Roast Battle in Montreal, it was untelevised. You know, it's what they'd call a pilot. You know, it was just we threw everything against the wall. We see what works, see what didn't. And Jeff had gotten Wanda Sykes. You know, Montreal, that Just for Laughs. You know, it's no more, but like it was pretty cool because every big comic in the world, every mid-level comic in the world, they're there in the same place. So Jeff got Wanda Sykes to judge a roast battle that night, one of the nights. And she was so fucking mean to Jack Knight. She basically was like, "You suck." And you could tell, you know, Jack Knight didn't even want to do the show because he was a stand-up. And most stand-ups didn't like roast battle. It's like, what is this shit? But somehow Jack got talked into battling, I think it was, I forget who he was battling. Maybe Alex Edelman, who has a special on HBO out right now. And Wanda was just like, "You're awful at this." And you could tell it hurt him. So I hope she feels good now. I've seen Megadeth open up for Motorhead at the House of Blues. Might have been, no, it wasn't 1990. It was early 2000s. Why I nurse my energy drinks. Keith Robinson. Is he a comic, John Doe? Greg Robinson or Keith Robinson? Uh, I remember hearing JR on Artie's Pod. Oh, he's not. But you know, he's good at networking and bullshitting. Okay, I don't know him, but he probably doesn't know me. I mean, I don't know if she is or isn't, to be honest with you, but she was kind of shitty to Jack Knight. You know, it's not why Jack killed himself, but like it was, you know, 7 years later. But I always thought, what a bitch. But I could also see Jeff fibbing to Wanda, and he probably didn't really let her know or let her in on the, you know, the joke of the show. You know, it's not a stand-up show; it's a fucking bullying show. Yeah, Brody's death was hard. I mean, I would like to see Springsteen one more time. Battle of the Potluckers. Who wins, John Sheezer or Zorba? You mean in a fight or a stand-up? I mean, I'd go with Sheezer in both. Zorba. Last time I saw Zorba, he was working the movie theater on Crescent Heights and Sunset. He let me in for free. Got to see the full Monty for free. Thank you, Zorba, wherever you may be. I mean, comics on podcasts, you know, there's some comics who are great guests. Like I'm a great guest because I have a lot of cool stories. Some are good second mics. You know, you're not the best interviewer, so you let someone else carry the heavy lifting. You chime in with the zinger or one-liner. And then, you know, some are good third mics, like my friend Jet Ski Johnson. I think she's on Santino and Bobby Lee's podcast, and she's great to chime in when they're going at it. Excuse me. My bad. Sorry about it. It's not carbonated. I was never on Tough Crowd. Kev should have you back on MLC. I don't really want to do any of those shows anymore, especially now where it's like, I'm sure if I went on MLC tomorrow, I'd be like, "Earl, what do you think of Stuttering John?" I'm like, nothing. Yeah, $10 more than likely. $10. I could have held my own on Tough Crowd because I'm fearless, you know. So, and I won't be disrespected. So if someone, you know, Colin Quinn, Patrice, all legends, but you're not going to talk to me shitty. I'll fire right back at you. Steven Adler was a good dude. I'm friends to this day with his brother Jamie. So yeah, Geraldo, I never got to meet him, but my first roast battle on TV was against his best friend, Jesse Joyce. And I think the second joke I was going to do was about Greg's suicide. And I asked Jesse before the battle, hey, is there anything you don't want me to joke about? And I think he knew I was basically saying, hey, can I do a Geraldo joke? And Jesse was real cool. Said, no, I don't care. And he said the same thing to me. He's like, anything you don't want me to talk about? And I'm like, no, whatever. Has there been a PodCon? If not, why? I mean, they do a music PodCon in Tennessee. I forget what it's called, but I did it the first year. It was pretty awesome. Tim Dillon seems straight to me. I don't know. I mean, when he comes up to the Comedy Store, he's always with dudes, but I don't really care what he is. Oh, I love Colin Quinn. Yeah, I mean, I don't like doing panel shows because you got to do like the fake laughter, and you got to act like you're listening to the other people when they're telling their stories, and I'd rather do one-on-one interview. Like I'd rather do like Joe Rogan, which is me and Joe. B40, Bob Kelly seems like a great guy. I've never met him, actually. You'd think two comics who've been doing it 1,000 years, we would cross paths, but he's an East Coast guy. I'm a West Coast guy. Don't fuck with Earl. Well, you can fuck with me, but I will return fire. And sometimes I miss, like the other night when I was watching wrestling in Bakersfield and Soraya's brother was the dark match. And, the crowd's pretty quiet just because everyone's still getting there. And I yelled pretty loudly, hey, I can see your panties, bitch. And he looked at me and goes, with those glasses, I would hope so, mate. He got me. I took a swing and he got me. I mean, I was a little young to appreciate Van Halen. And, when I was in high school and in college, I listened to Van Hagar, but I like both. Well, tweet at Tim Dillon and let's make it happen. You think Oilers can come back in series? It's going to be tough, B40. Much Sharks Unite. Pew, pew. See, if you tweeted Tim Dillon, then, maybe, yeah, I'd have Earl on. I mean, we get along. We don't really talk a lot. It's just fist bumps, but I'm seeing Steve-O. I brought Steve-O up once during potluck at the Comedy Store. He was very nice, and he got off on time. He's a storyteller. He doesn't really do jokes. I don't know about Keith discovering Kevin Hart. Did you ever go to the hotel where RFK was shot? I have not. Do you have any guilty pleasure that people would be surprised? Yeah, I love the show Ink Master. I'm obsessed with watching that show, and I don't have any tattoos, so why would I be? I was telling someone in my yoga class tonight. I'm just amazed that, people go on a show, they're getting a free tattoo. And if you're getting, say, an eagle on your shoulder, so a half sleeve, that takes anywhere from 10 to 20 hours. Now, on the show, they got to do it in 6. And it's done under the guise of, they have the first challenge is who gets to determine the skull picks, which is who gets to determine who tattoos who. So if a dick wins the first challenge and I say, I'd like an American traditional eagle on my left shoulder, they're going to give that tattoo to someone who doesn't do American traditional. So I'm going to have a fucked up tattoo for the rest of my life, all because the contestants are playing mind games with each other. That's crazy to me that they would get enough people to get tattoos under those stressful conditions. And now they have a show called Ink Master Redemption where you can go back to the guy who fucked up your tattoo in the first place. Like if I go to a mechanic, excuse me, and the engine falls out, I'm not going to go back to that mechanic. So that would be my guilty pleasure. Kevin Hart judged my roast battle against Tom Ballard. It was David Spade and Kevin Hart, and I went for it. If you go, I don't know, YouTube or Comedy Central, you'll hear me do this joke because Tom Ballard is one of my good friends. He's gay, so I'm like, Tom is gay, so he's taking more shots to the back than Kevin's unarmed cousin. Hello! And Kevin Hart's just going like that to me. I took a shot. I didn't miss on that one. I heard someone tried to assassinate you at Whiskey Bend. I was there the night someone got... actually, no one got shot. There was a fight at the pool table, and we all spilled outside. Actually, we were outside before the fight because I farted in there, and it stunk up the whole joint. So we were all getting some fresh air, and then all of a sudden we see a mass of bodies, pool balls being thrown at each other. And then a guy just in front of all of us pulls out a gun, and he was about to shoot this guy. And the guy who was about to shoot goes, "Hey, man, I'm in the fucking military, man." And the guy shot the gun in the air, and we all took off. I mean, it was fucking... Those are the type of gigs I was doing. Why do people shit on Matt Rife? I mean, he's just a good-looking guy, and I hear he's a nice guy. I think I talked to him once on Twitter. They're just jealous of someone who's good-looking and is successful. Is he the funniest guy? He's got a fan base that thinks he is, so that's all that really matters. It's like what I'm trying to do in this stream. Eventually, I want hundreds or 1,000 people in this stream to think I'm the greatest fucking comic on earth. And at the end of the stream, I say, "Hey, I'll be at the Comedy Store Saturday night, and 50 of you show up." So I can't hate on Matt Rife for doing something I'm trying to do. Oh, really? How's he look, B40? I mean, Motorhead was my loudest show, Shawnetta. I mean, it ain't even close. Like, no one played louder than Motorhead. I was at the House of Blues once, and Slash went on stage with him. He played Born to Raise Hell, and he was supposed to do another song, and he walked off and said, "Dude, I can't hear." Ink Master is still going, but it's not the same judges. I only like the seasons with Oliver Peck, Chris Nunez, and Navarro. I love Van Halen. I just, I grew up with Van Hagar. If Road Ranger, I don't know who Road Ranger is, to be honest with you. I worked a Roth solo show for Albany in the 90s. I mean, I saw him play the Porn Awards once. It was a pretty good show. He had Bart Walsh on guitar. I never got to see the OG solo band of the Prince of Pound, Greg Bissonette on drums, Billy Sheehan on bass, and Steve Vai on guitar. I think when Billy Sheehan left, Greg Bissonette's brother took over, Matt Bissonette. Crazy thing is the Bissonette brothers, Bissonette, they used to play Sunday nights at this bar in Studio City, just playing jazz. Slash did a week on Kimmel in May. Oh, I didn't know that. Knickerbocker Arena, Albany. Oh, wow. You were there to see Sinatra? I mean, Rat does play loud. Oh, the Road Rager. I'm sorry. You must be new to the stream. Welcome. Welcome aboard. I think you are the greatest. Well, thank you, Shawnetta. I mean, I'm not the greatest comic, but that's why I'm trying to do what Matt Rife has done. I mean, Matt Rife literally could not get booked in LA 3 years ago. He was only getting up at the Laugh Factory because his manager worked there. So I have no hate towards Matt Rife. He's not done anything to me. B40, I don't trust people who can't laugh at themselves. Yes, 25 people in here, T-Gun. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, some guys age well, I mean, I don't think Billy Squire ever really had the reputation of a crazy partier, but, as a 70s and 80s rocker, he did a little bit of the nasal whiskey. Yeah, Slayer was very live, but Motorhead's loud on another level, which is crazy because they were only a three-piece band. I probably saw them 50 times as a three-piece. I can only imagine how loud they were with four-piece. Um, I mean, I like Boss Skaggs, the Lido Shuffle. I like the Cars. I don't think we need more Lemmy Cologne. I like ballad. I like Christopher Cross. Christopher Cross did it right. But he had like three number one songs on his first album, then he just fucking quit. That's how you do it, man. Um, you know. Oh, I'm telling you, Motorhead is loud on a level that I can't describe. I don't like Michael McDonald, but I don't hate him either. Ride Like the Wind, Sailing, and he had one more, Arthur's theme song. Uh, well, I mean, the key with Matt is, can he act? And he probably can. I don't know if he can or not. I mean, Dane Cook couldn't act, and he was kind of a dick from what I heard. Um, my buddy who casted him in one of the movies was like, "Hey, you can be a dick when your movies are hits. Dane can't be a dick." I mean, I'm sure, listen, Matt Rife's manager, whoever it is now, it's probably like, get your ass out there. I don't care if you're tired or not. You're young. Suck it up. Um, good, yeah, I like Carly Simon. You're so vain. Yeah, I like some yacht rock. I mean, I don't know if Man of War did. I never saw them play, but goddamn, I mean, Motorhead is just unbelievable. Uh, I like James Taylor. I mean, I wouldn't go see him in concert, but uh, did he really? I didn't know that about Van Halen and Michael McDonald. Well, but I think the problem with Dane is, he couldn't act. He couldn't really be anything other than himself. So, obviously, when he was younger and good-looking dude, he could play the cocky, almost like frat house guy, and like Will Ferrell can act. That's why when Will Ferrell got a little older, he could still get roles. Don Johnson can act. Now, Don Johnson's not a comic, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, D'Elia could act, but then the scandal happened, and his acting career is probably over. Um, well, I will say, and Michael, when I used to open up for Rob Schneider, it was very frustrating some nights when Rob, was at the point where he just wanted to do his hour and 15 minutes for the crowd and do his jokes. And, people would yell out, "You can do it," or "That's a huge bitch," and right in the middle of a punchline or right in the middle of a setup. So, not being there, I can't really, from what I led to believe, it was only like two or three hecklers, which, they probably could have been booted out pretty easily. But, George, older dude now, he probably doesn't have the patience he used to be and was just like, fuck this. But it sucks for the people who paid a lot of money and then, now they're kind of, like, wait a minute, we didn't heckle. Good for Tom Jones. He used to be my neighbor in Bel Air. Carly was one hot hippie chick. Yeah, she was hot. That mouth, Steven Tyler mouth. Other than USA, Canada. What the fuck? Get over it, Canada. Um, mhm. Gigi was the biggest piece of garbage. And Gigi Allen. Their kids are real nice too. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, Michael, it not being there and not seeing, fans get excited. I mean, George Perez is a big fucking star. I mean, I used to go to Tom Jones's house for Halloween, and I'll never forget, these are things you just, as a kid, you have a memory about certain things. When he opened up the door one Halloween with like two hot bitches, and I'm like 8 years old asking him for candy corn, he gave it to me. Hello. Excuse me. What was your roughest nights with hecklers? I don't get heckled that much. And, heckling is really, I can deal with hecklers if the intention is good. But like the guy at Hackmania, when we were doing Win Earl Skakel's Money, and this guy bombed, and the guy just yells out, "He's still funnier than Earl." Like, that gives me nothing to play off of. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I'm funny. It's just like, uh, most hecklers just want to be acknowledged. But like that guy at Hackmania was just like, okay, you're just being a dick. So, okay. I think my only reply to him was, come up here and say it to my face. And all of a sudden he got real shy. Um, well, most hecklers want to be just acknowledged. They're signaling to the people they're with, "Hey, I'm funny too. I'm gonna go toe to toe with this guy or girl." Um, and I remember one night I'm at the Comedy Store. It's a pretty full room, and that Disney star, the actor, his name Kyle Massey. He was in some big Disney show. He had like three girls with him, and you could clearly tell the three girls were not aware of each other. Like, that's when you know you're a baller, when you invite three dates and they sit at the same table. And the one girl, the hottest girl, was kind of heckling me, and Kyle was getting embarrassed. So I just looked at the girl and go, "Hey, Kyle, listen, I know you're paying this one by the hour. Can you just tell her to shut up? I only got a few more minutes left." Um, I mean, I was at an open mic once back in the day when a heckler threw a sandwich at this guy. And then, about a year ago at the Comedy Store, this table full of Raider fans from like Palmdale were heckling me. Uh, I think they used the F word, agate. The guy just yells out, and I was doing pretty well. I remember, "Take off your leather pants, you agate." And I'm like, "You're calling me an agate, and you're at a table with six dudes?" And that got him unnerved, and he stormed the stage. And then there was a huge brawl in the parking on the sidewalk when I was still on stage. So you ever think of writing a book about all your crazy experiences in comedy? Oh, really? I didn't know that. I don't want to get my channel struck big black. So, um, Big Black, get some of the Stern fans in here. I need numbers, Big Black. I'm doing a stream to 26 people, but I'm glad I am. Wheezy Jefferson, what up? I didn't say hello to you. Um, what do you do now, Big Black? If you don't mind me asking. I always thought you were good on the roast. you know. Well, I don't mind hecklers. Like at the Comedy Store, I'll wave off the security. But at the Ice House, I don't know if that's cool. It happens to all of us, Big Black. But at the Ice House now, they have armed security guards in the showroom. I don't like that. I haven't listened to Stern really since Jackie was on. I mean, I listened a little bit when Artie was on, but I miss the days of like Daniel Carver and who like when they would do the Hollywood Squares. The black guy, who was the black guy, Big Black? Not you, but the intern, and they put him up above Big Black or above Daniel Carver, and he's like, it was just ridiculous. Um, I mean, Stern just seems like everything he rallied against. Um, yeah, King of All Blacks. No, I think it was some black dude. He was like a black intern. Um, or maybe maybe it was King of All Blacks. And he just kept going back and forth with Daniel Carver. I mean, that's crazy. They had a guy from the KKK on. You ever get mistaken for John Goodman? No. I get mistaken for Walter White a lot. I mean, Beetlejuice, I never really. I mean, he's obviously a legendary stern figure, but I got sad when I seen him. It's like, oh, this guy doesn't know he's being goofed on. Like, I don't like that when people are getting goofed on and they don't really realize it. Like Jeff the Drunk and stuff. I didn't like that. I like the Hollywood Squares. What was the God hates? You know what? Uh, the mom and the two daughters, and Bobby Trendy, who is my next door neighbor. He's pretty funny. I always see him walking the boulevard. He's working it. So, oh, really? Wendy I don't wanna say, well, yeah, but I just didn't like Jeff the Drunk. It's like, Jesus, this is fucking sad. I saw Roy Orbison do the national anthem for Wayne Gretzky's first game, for the LA Kings. It was pretty cool. I know Melrose Larry Green. He would come to the Comedy Store, and I'd be on stage, and he would just start yelling Baba Booey," and, like, no one got what he was doing. Um Well, I don't mind like Big Black, King of All Blacks. You guys know you're in on the joke. But people like Jeff the Drunk and Wendy the Riri, uh, they aren't. So like Bobby Trendy, he was in on the joke. Like here he is, a pretty gay dude, but he knew there was going to be homophobia whenever he would agree to go on Stern. I don't mind that. So I don't know. I just um, you know I don't like it when they're not in on the joke. All right, you kids, this has been a pretty good stream. 22 strong. Do a stream tomorrow night, probably 5 p.m. because I don't have much to do tomorrow. Well, I mean, when you look at some of those sketches, the Howard Stern is Clarence Thomas when he starts off looking into the camera going "Oonga Boonga," like that's crazy to me. And one with Sherman Hemsley where he's calling Robin, what he like. It's like that. Woo! And even some of the Daniel Carver ones don't really like. It's like holy fuck, man, they're really going for it. Um, I mean, Howard Stern should have been canceled 20 times over, but it was just a different era. Um, Jeff, yeah, I mean, Marge Shot, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Like, Donald Sterling, Marge Shot. My dad knew the owner of the Reds before Marge Shot, Happy Williams. I still have in an autographed baseball case a Ken Griffey autograph, not Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey. Yeah, Sunday night I'm planning on doing the Juice tour. What I might do is maybe tomorrow night walk Lois in that neighborhood to see how long it takes. Uh, don't you front on Sherman Hemsley. Well, Wheezy, but you know that one sketch I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I keep it real. I keep it real. So, yeah, AC/DC classic, of course. So, I mean, I was a Cincinnati Reds fan when it was Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, of course, my dad's golfing buddy Johnny Bench. Who else was in that? Ron Oster, uh, Dan Dreesen, Ken Griffey, of course, uh, Dave Parker, the great Dave Parker, Joe Morgan. That's one of my favorite Chris Berman names. Mario, Scotch and Soto. John Franco. Yeah, the blackface with Sherman Hemsley, but like Jesus, that doesn't really hold up very well. And then the next generation of Reds, Chris Sabo, Barry Larkin. I was such a fan. Ed Armbrister, the 70s. So let's take this stream to the next level, guys. I'll probably do it at either 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow. So check it out. I want to do 31 days of streaming just to get in the algorithm, and then I'll cut back, maybe take Saturdays off. Sure, usually my big comedy night. And we'll take it from there. Earl Skakel, over and out. Don't forget to watch Who Killed WCW Part 2 tonight.